Well, the World Health Organization hopes that by naming the coronavirus COVID-19, it will stop the stigmatization of communities. Here in the UK, there have been reports of racism towards Chinese people following the outbreak in Wuhan in China last year. Well, we can speak to Phan, who is a student who's written about hostility towards the East Asian community here in the UK. Sam, talk us through what you've experienced.
Yeah, so with the coronavirus, I think it created a panic in Britain as with all across the world, and it's kind of made British East Asians feel kind of uncomfortable because the Chinese has been racialized as a Chinese virus. So in my experience being British Chinese, I think people kind of look at me and then assume, oh, maybe he has the virus, maybe he's a carrier of the virus. So I wrote an article in The Guardian trying to shed light on that, shed light on the experience of what it's been like in the past few weeks being a British Asian in the UK.
So have people actually explained to us, tell us something that has happened to you that has made you think that wouldn't have happened pre-coronavirus?
Yeah, I think people have started acting in different ways. So I've wrote about being on a bus and sitting down and the man immediately getting up to avoid sitting next to me. I've overheard conversations where people are terrified of being infected after being in contact with Chinese people. So yeah, there's been many examples, not just from myself, from people who've written to me telling me about these experiences that they felt in the past few weeks.
And where do you think this comes from? Is it a lack of understanding of, because this is a virus, it doesn't discriminate against,
Exactly.
So it's a complete lack of understanding of what is happening here.
Yeah, and I think it's almost sort of the spread of false news around the coronavirus. So there was that video of a woman eating a bat, for example, and that, you know, we found out it was from 3 years ago, it wasn't even in China. So yeah, I think because the virus came from China, I think, I don't think it also helps that Chinese people are seen as like a monolithic group. So, you know, people like look at me and think I'm from China, but actually I grew up here, like I feel very British. And so there isn't that distinction between like, you know, British Chinese, and the action of one person, unfortunately, has represented 1.4 billion people and the existing diaspora.
The article you wrote towards the end of January. We've had another almost 2 weeks of the spread of this disease, more information, and we're seeing how even people who haven't been in China have contracted it. Has your experience, is it changing in any way? Has it become less racist?
Yeah, I think the coverage of it has helped. I think like there's been a lot of people, Asian people who have written out on this, talking about, you know, I am not a virus, that happened in Spain and in France as well. So I think with this conversation beginning to happen, I think people are realizing actually, you know, anyone can carry the virus. In my personal experience, I've gone back to Manchester and being at university, I have felt it honestly a bit less. But on social media, I would still say that the jokes continue and the banter continues as well.
Social media always amplifies everything, doesn't it? Sam,
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and for
much.
writing that article. Sam Phan, thank you.
Thank you.